I guarantee you have never seen a durability test on epoxy countertops like this before. We'll be breaking everything from kitchenware to cutting directly onto the surface, boiling hot water in pans, heavy weight drop tests all the way up to 45 pounds. And if that don't break this countertop, we're gonna pull out the sledgehammer. We're gonna torture test these countertops until they fail, so don't go anywhere. Test number one, guys, we're gonna use a plate. So I'm gonna slide this thing down to Kyle. So we got some spots here, rubs right off. It's probably filing down that plate. And again, we have our most durable top coat on here. This is our mat with our grit additive. So yeah, all of that porcelain or whatever ceramic that was, it kind of just filed off. Okay, let's try it with some weight. Put a 5 pound on there. Try to mimic some food. That's a lot of food, but we're gonna try to mimic that. Let me put this down here. So same thing, we got these little white streaks. Again, they just rub right out. Can you see it like right here, James?
Yeah.
You able to see that?
Pretty much the only place I can.
Boom, rubs it right out. So I'd say the plate passes. Test two, guys, is just a coffee mug. Same thing, probably gonna get a similar result. Slide that down. Maybe rub it around a little, Kyle. Sounds like it's damaging it, but again, guys, it's just wearing off that ceramic mug. And then we have 0 scratches. So I would say that's a pass. Just your typical key. We're gonna file this down a little bit, and I'll do it in the darker color so we can see if it scratches it. Sounds like it's damaging it. You can see how it just filed that down, made it really shiny. Rub that out. So very, very impressive for a key, guys. Again, filing a key down and it just rubs right off. Next test, guys, test number 4. We're gonna heat up, boil some water. We'll boil it in a pan. And then we'll also boil it in the coffee mug, so we'll need that coffee mug. Our little canteen, we're gonna heat up first. We'll get that to boiling and set it down. Okay, so we got, what's the temp?
215 degrees.
215 boiling. We're gonna go set this down. We're gonna let it sit there until it kind of cools off. All right, so while that's setting there, we're gonna let it cool down, pull it up, see what it does. I'll point out this pan. You know, we have these pans. These little cheap chintzy ones are flat bottom versus these guys that have the ribs. It's actually very sharp. We're gonna slide this around, do some stuff with this, and then we'll boil the water in this and set it down. A lot of times people will do tests and use like really flat, smooth bottoms, and it's not ideal. Those are really cheap pans. Most pans have some type of thing on the bottom like this. So sounds like it's scratching it, but again, I think it's just kind of filing this down like it did on the key. Nothing. So we'll add a little weight to it. Add a little weight so you guys don't think we're being babies about it. So yeah, it's got like black stuff from the bottom probably, but again, guys, it just rubs right off. And we're not even like using a cleaner, we're just rubbing it off with our hands. Okay, we'll get that boiling, we'll set it over there as well. We got that guy cooling off. While that stuff's going on, just to keep this test thing going, I'm gonna cut an apple with a knife. Now, we don't recommend obviously cutting on decorative epoxy surfaces over time. It will scratch it and scuff it up. It's always good to use a cutting board. Same thing with hot stuff, guys. Use hot pads, but we just want to show you how durable our products really are when you apply our top coat. So we're just gonna cut it like you normally would. So obviously the knife is sharp. It looks like it's cutting the surface. So it looks like it was cut into the surface, but it looks like it's just rubbing off. It just might be the knife blade being wet, setting down like that, right? If I cut into this apple, get it wet, and I put that down there, it kind of leaves those lines. Maybe a little bit of a nick right here, guys. 2 little teeny nicks, but honestly, here, spray it again, and then rub it. Yeah, just a little teeny nick right here, and that's it. So yeah, a little defect in the surface, but again, I mean, you're not really gonna notice that unless you get down. I can't even see it from here. I have to get down and look to see that. So there's cutting on it. Like I said before, we don't recommend it, and that's the obviously reason you can mess up that surface from a sharp blade, and this is obviously a sharp blade. Guys, it's cutting right through the apple. Nice and clean cut, right? So we didn't mimic this knife at all, and that is ready. Now we got boiling water in a pan. Gonna take that off very slowly. Move it right here. Set that down, and again, this is the pan that has the ribs, the texture on the bottom. It's not perfectly smooth. Now, same thing with the knife, guys. Like I said, it's, you know, treat them like a high-end counter. Put hot pads down. Put cutting boards down for the knives. Let's see what happened. So temp that to show them it's hot. Yeah, it's really, really warm.
So the counter's 131 right there. We'll just come right over here. Show that counter is 78.
So typically what happens, yeah, so see how it's really soft? I can indent it with my fingernail. Once that cools down, it'll get hard again. It's pretty cool, actually. It didn't affect it, didn't stain it, didn't really do anything that high of heat, just sitting on the surface for a couple of minutes. Okay, so Trey's gonna go heat us up a coffee mug. One thing I will point out about the coffee mugs is they do have those rings on the bottom. They're not flat. And so again, it might indent because it's gonna get soft from the heat. But again, once it cools down, it typically bounces back. Worst case scenario that happens with that is sometimes you'll have like a ghost ring there. It's perfectly flat, and obviously darker counters, you'll see it more. Lighter counters, you won't see it as much. Okay, show them the temp. We're at 190.
Oh, she dropped
Let me see.
Just pull it once and it'll...
194. All right, so we got 70 where nothing was put on the counter. This is where we put that cup first. Still a little warm. And then we got our boiling pan reading 115. And then we got our coffee mug reading 188. It was 194 just a second ago. And again, like I said, on the coffee mugs, they have those rings that are like a lip. So sometimes if they're all chunked out and nasty, they'll indent a little bit. But again, once it cools back off, it'll bounce back and be flat. Once in a while, it'll leave those ghost rings that you notice in darker colors more. And again, this guy has the ribs on the bottom, no discoloration, nothing really affected the surface from the rough bottom. And we got a 95-degree reading on it right now. So yeah, like I said, you can set hot stuff on it. You want to have flat bottoms, obviously. Is it smart? No. Like I said, treat it like a high-end counter. Use hot pads. But again, this just shows the durability and longevity of a Leggari epoxy countertop. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit there while we keep doing the test. Now this is the fun part for us because we're gonna start smashing stuff. We're gonna break some glass. We're gonna drop some of these kettlebells. Again, I told you guys we're gonna run this countertop until it fails. So safety goggles first. We're gonna do a mug, a glass. We're gonna run it off a shelf. I'll just tip it off of there, let it hit the surface. It's gonna break and we'll see what it does to the epoxy surface. Here we go. It's a good glass. Any damage? I don't see. Let's run it again. Here we go, I'll get it to break.
Third time's the charm.
Here we go. This thing's taking some abuse,
You
man.
just gotta go like this. It's gonna break this.
Okay, hey.
Don't tip it.
Show me how it's done.
You want me to break it?
You break it, man.
Break it.
Broken glass. Oh, look, we got a shard that just landed right into the counter. You guys see that? Didn't chip, just kind of dented it in there. Very dangerous. So we're gonna pick this up. But I'm telling you, you do that 3 times on granite or stone, you're probably gonna get a chip because again, it doesn't flex. That epoxy just kind of dented itself in there and stuck into the surface.
Just slid it off.
do it. Just do it again. Just do it again, man. That was a good one. Hard impact. It bounced. It broke. So what we're going to do is take a second. We're going to clean all this up, and then we'll inspect it for damage. Some thick bottoms on them, guys. I could do some damage to a counter. All right, so the glass was a success. James, come get a close-up. So it dropped like right around here, and there was a spot. So right here, we had a little indent from a shard just smacking the surface, stuck in there. But again, it didn't dent it, right? Very, very, I mean, I could just kind of rub that out. Very, very minute. Only way you're gonna see that is if you get up close and you know what you're looking for. So the next thing we're gonna do is we'll pull the mug up and see what it does. We're at 140. We set it down at like 194, I think it was. This is where it was. I don't see a ring or an indent really, and I'll pour this out and show you the bottom of the mug. So here's the mug, and exactly what I was saying before. Here's the raised lip on the bottom. So all the weight and all the heat is really going to this, and that's why sometimes it'll leave a ghost ring or leave a little indent, but it typically bounces back. We didn't see that on here. This is where we put it right here. It's still pretty warm, but there's no indent. You can't even tell we set anything on it. Be cautious of your mugs, right? And again, I can't reiterate it enough to just set hot pads down, use cutting board, stuff like that. But I think this is a very informative video for you guys to show the durability of our countertop. So now we're gonna start breaking some hardcore stuff, which is a mug. It's pretty strong. And then we're gonna start dropping these kettlebells to see what weight it takes to actually chip or damage the surface of the countertop. Pretty heavy duty. I'm gonna drop it maybe on its side. I want it to break, not just bounce, so. Beautifully done. It's a little easier than picking up glass, ain't it? Okay, so impact was in this vicinity. We'll wipe this stuff off. Looks like you can kind of see it stuck in there a little bit, but once we wipe that off, try to find it again. Little denatured alcohol wipe. Notice that denatured alcohol chemical is not affecting the countertop either. Yeah, so nothing. All right, plate, you can do the plate. Let's do it. Drop the plate. We'll clean this up. That was a good break, Kyle. This is, again, guys, it's a pretty rowdy plate. I mean, it's not some cheap little plate. All right, so a little inspection of the surface. Still, again, guys, looks fine. There's no chips. There's no really defects that you would be like, oh, I have to repair that. So I would say that's a success. Should we start with the 20? It's a yes. Hey, we should grab the, because these have rubber on them. It's gonna brace the impact. Again, we're trying to do a legit test for you guys and no gimmicky, finicky stuff. So I'll do a couple with these, see what it does. If they're successful not affecting it, we'll just go get some weights out of the gym. What are those, iron weights or something? Plates, some plates that don't have any rubber on them. All right, 5 pound. 5 pound. Nothing. I'll kind of drop it at an angle too so it's not flat. Left a scuff mark, but I know that'll wipe up. We'll get to that. 10 pound. Same height. Scuff mark. I'll try to drop it at an angle. Doesn't want to land on an angle. So again, just scuff marks, probably from the rubber, right? We're gonna do some other tests as well. So 15 pounds, 15, copy. Like I said, we're not doing anything gimmicky, guys. That was a corner. That hit on a corner. Nothing. Just some marks from the rubber around it. Okay, so now we're on to the 20 pounder. Try to get a corner. That hit a corner. Here, clean that off, Kyle. Pretty impressive for impacting the same exact spot multiple times and this thing not chipping. But I do want to say these do have that rubber shell on them. So again, like I said, we're trying to give you the legit test. So we're going to get out 5 pound. It's got sharp edges on it, right? We're gonna start dropping these on there next. Comment below, crushed it, if you guys think this is the most extensive and honest durability test that you've ever seen on epoxy countertops. Same height. Drop it flat. That's a pass. Okay, 10 pounds, same height. Flat. There we go. Got some nice scuff marks in it here now. Let's go for some more weights. 25 pounds. It's got some weight to it. Same height. We're gonna go flat, try to get a little rocky. Okay. Definitely jacked a corner, and we actually chipped the plate here. So let's clean this up and see what kind of damage we got. Looks like we took a little chunk out of the counter. But again, guys, this is a 25-pound weight, and look at these sharp edges. That edge just hit right there. So I would say that's very impressive for taking a 25-pound weightlifting plate. Hey, we're trying to be as real and authentic as we can on this test. So Kyle's getting a scrub brush. When I was saying earlier I can get those out, we did a stain test on our top coats probably a year ago, and we did a lot of stuff to it. We'll pop that video up or put it in the description below where you guys can see it. All right, guys, I told you we're gonna throw down on these counters until they fail. I would say that's a fail in sense, but a 25-pound plate with sharp edges, it chipped the plate at the same time, so still very impressive. So let's get a bigger weight. All right, so same height. Again, guys, didn't chip it. It's only when these like sharp edges are hitting that is when it's chipping. Okay, we'll clean this up. We already know we had the chip from the 25-pound edge hitting. There's no point in hitting a 35-pound edge. We know it's gonna chip it, but I will do it on the 45. So yeah, that's crazy. So that weight cracked the caulking that we had there on the wall. Obviously it only did it, right where we dropped it. All right, get in there, man. I know you want to do it.
Doing this?
Yeah, same height. Maybe get this guy like level so it's similar height. Right here is not going to be very high.
Like this?
Yeah, drop it straight down. Right. Drop it straight and then flat. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure, drop it.
Drop for the wall.
Yeah, watch the wall. That edge did hit a little bit. Obviously the scuff marks. But again, it's only when those sharp corners are hitting. So now try to get it to where it hits one of those edges. Let's try to get a nice chunk chipped out of here. All right, so the 45-pound, he had the edge. Again, I mean, there's just scuff marks and scrapes and stuff. But again, it didn't chip a chunk. I mean, you do that on a piece of stone, that thing's cracking, it's shattering, it ain't gonna be good. So very impressive. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna start taking a sledgehammer to it. Maybe start out a little light, a little heavier, a little harder. Let's just see what it takes to start getting this thing to chip. Before Kyle smashes that countertop with the sledgehammer, I wanted to show you guys our top coat options. I have a board here with them all laid out. Starting on the right, this is epoxy with no top coat. This is our glaze coat. Then we have our gloss urethane. We have our gloss with our grit additive, our matte urethane, and then our matte with our grit additive. Now, the top coats with the grit additive are by far our most durable top coats. And I'm telling you guys, you're gonna be amazed at how hard Kyle has to hit this countertop to get it to break. And we're gonna check it out next. So again, guys, I want to point out, like, we're not mimicking these tests. I mean, I've seen a lot of people do tests on their products, and you can tell they're not like hitting it hard with the hammer. They're not, they're just not legit tests. So I don't think anyone can say we're not legitimately testing the durability on this top. I want it to chip, man. We told them we're gonna make it fail. There we go. There we go. He got it. Honestly, how hard were you hitting that?
Pretty dang hard.
Yeah, I could tell. I mean, everything on the countertop is shaking and bouncing. So, like I said, we're gonna run this thing until it fails. I would say that would need to be repaired, guys. So, but it's pretty cool that it didn't chip. It's just like dented in there. I think you dented the wood. You probably dented the wood underneath, and then the epoxy kind of gave out.
Pretty cool though.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, man. I think we crushed this durability test, and I don't think anyone can.
Pun intended.
Exactly. We crushed this durability test, and I don't think anyone can say we didn't really try to break these countertops. All right, check it out, guys. You can see under here, that's right where he hit. Only spot under here that's broke. Dented the epoxy, cracked it. Not only did he do that, he broke 2 layers of 3/4 inch MDF all the way through with that sledge. So don't even think about saying he wasn't hitting that hard. I challenge every company to stop doing gimmicky durability tests and use this video as an industry standard in testing. And we're out. Hey guys, we're gonna run this countertop through the ringer. I got a sledgehammer here. I'm gonna hit this as hard as I can, and it's not even gonna dent or chip the surface. Watch this. Tell me that ain't a durable countertop.